Hi you guys, so here it is, the Tribute T715. So I'm just going to walk you around the vehicle to give you a decent handover, just to show you how to get on with it and how things operate. So first and foremost, underneath here is your diesel fill up. So we do need the driver ignition key to access the diesel. Twist it left 90 degrees and that diesel cover will remove itself, ready to be topped up. Do the same in reverse to obviously get the cap back in. Wind out canopy on top is quite simple. All we do is we come to this far right end over here. We insert the wind out tool, which is in this locker just down at the bottom. Twisting it anti-clockwise will bring the awning out, and in that front of the canopy is where both the legs reside. So you'll pull the legs out, get them down, tighten the bolts up, and that is your canopy out, which will obviously show you when you're here with us. Further down the side of the vehicle, we've got this additional Fiamma locking device. So pull this pin down here and we can then spin the handle either way to use it as a lock for the door, or we can lock it in position as an access handle to get in and out of the habitation. Further down to that, we obviously have the gas locker, and inside the gas locker we've got the bottle in. Twist left on top to turn it on. The rules with the gas bottle is that when you drive in, this gas bottle has to be strapped in and it has to be turned off. But obviously when we turn up to a campsite, we want to first and foremost get the gas turned on, and that is how we do that, closing the locker behind us. This usually has a little cover over it, but at the minute obviously I ain't got a cover over because I'm running the hot water on the gas and electric, and all that is the exhaust from your boiler. And further down to that is your water fill up, which as demonstrated, hose pipe straight in, turn the hose on, then inside above the door we have the levels so we can keep out how much water is in that tank. Underneath here is your gas barbecue point. Now your gas barbecue point, you plug straight onto it, turn the tap, and the gas from that bottle comes through this point here to the Cadac that you will have plugged in. Underneath the rear bed at the back, you have this locker just here where all the carpets will reside, and also is your boiler drain valve, which is this yellow switch just here. Flip that vertical to drain all the water out of your boiler. Keep it horizontal like that to lock it off into place. Up at the top, you've got your reverse camera. Obviously, just don't get too close with the jet wash. And then round to this side, we've just got a blue tap down here, which is how we drain the fresh water tank, which is where all that water is. So the hose pipe we've just seen, that is in filling up the fresh water tank. And to empty that tank, we do that tap there. To empty the wastewater tank, which is all the water after it's gone down your plug hole into the secondary tank, we do that grey tap just there. Obviously, the hookup lead plugs into the vehicle on this driver's side here. So when we pull up to the campsite, turn the gas bottle on, fill the water up with the hose pipe, put the hookup lead in, and you've got your 3 power sources needed to power everything on this motorhome. At the back corner, we have the toilet cassette, and that's nice and easy. So you want to lift the blue lever to retrieve the cassette, pull it towards you to expose the handle, and lift and remove. Once you get over to the designated area, spin the cap off the end like so, and quite literally tip it out forwards. The cap is also a measuring beaker, so you put your blues or your greens in there, back into the cassette, spinning that round, pushing it over, and then transferring and putting that straight back in. Keep an eye on that blue handle, and when that clips in, we are good to go. Right, onto the inside then. So as soon as we come in straight away, we're going to have the control panel directly above the door, and we're also going to have the awning light switch above the door as well, which I'm going to show you how to operate. So stepping into the motorhome, 1 second, I'll just have to put the zoom on. Flick this over. Right, okay, so into here then, above the door. I don't know if that's any better than that, to be fair. I'll keep it on the 1x zoom for quality. This is your control panel. This button here wakes everything up when we come into the motorhome. So when you first arrive on site, click this button. This button here shows you the L for leisure battery levels. So if I click it, it shows us how much power is in the leisure battery. If I click vehicle, it shows us how much power is in the vehicle battery. But you'll notice how the blue light swaps. That's because as I'm clicking that, I'm also swapping which battery we're powered off and charging. So at the minute, all these lights that are on the 12 volt, the fan system and everything like that, all that is on the leisure battery. If I click this one here with the V, not only now are all these lights and everything going through the vehicle battery, we're also charging said vehicle battery. At the bottom here, you have the water pump on or off. Obviously the blue light indicates it's on, and this is your water levels. So as you've got the hose pipe in outside, click that button there, and it's going to tell us exactly how much water is in that tank as you're filling it up. This here is the switch for your awning light. We've got some TV capability here. We've got a power socket. These power sockets that you'll see in the motorhome will only ever have power when you have the hookup lead in. These ones will work off the battery. This is your normal aerial TV point, and your awning wind out tool, sorry, which I thought was under the bed. Well, it is well, there's two of them. You've got two. Your wind out tool there is just for the canopy. Now, working our way around, this cupboard here is just for the stowaway table. So if you don't want this table up, it does collapse down slimline and will fit in this cupboard here. In here, we have the wardrobe, but we also have the TV aerial and obviously your TV aerial cable. Now, to get the best signal on this, there is a switch on top of there, just there to turn it off and on. We need to twist this left to loosen it, lift it up as high as we can, and what you can do is you can download an app on your phone called Signal Finder, where it tells you which way to point your TV aerial for the best picture. So obviously, maybe fridge must be running low on the gas. I'm just going to turn that off before I run out of gas. Right. So below us here, we now have the heater. Now this is so this here is how to work the heater on gas. This is all about the fan speed. To work the heater on electric, we do that here. So essentially, if you're plugged in on a campsite, you're given three options. Well, four. The circle is off, 2000 is 2 kilowatts, 500 is half a kilowatt, and 1000 is 1 kilowatt. So first of all, choose your power setting with the outer dial. I always on Handover set it to the highest powered setting possible, obviously. In the centre, we also then have this dial, 1 to 9. 9 being 30 degrees warm air, and 1 being obviously about 18. So choose your power setting, then choose your temperature. Now, obviously for this time of year, when it's absolutely freezing, you want to be warmer, you may need to use your gas as well as your electric to get your heating really nice and hot. The green light's just there to indicate it's on. You get a red light just here if you've got a fault, which can often come across when you don't take the cover off the exhaust pipe outside, for instance, or just to say maybe perhaps that the plug-in you plugged into on the campsite is actually tripped off, there's no power on it. So this will tell you when there's a problem. Now, that's the electric side of the heating. Even once you've done the electrics, we still need to tell it where to fan that heat we've asked for. So we've got an internal dial and an external dial. The external dial is off, automatic and manual. So automatic will go with the temperature that you've selected on the panel, on the dial, sorry. Manual then allows me to use this dial to choose my fan speed by myself. So I can take it down to 2 or up to 5. This one here is just vent. So that one there is for when there's no heating on and all you want to do is fan some air around the motorhome, keeping it obviously nice and fresh. So that's the electric side of the heating. So for handovers, as we always do, we run the gas and electric simultaneously on the boiler and the heating to show everything working. Now, to light the gas on the boiler, you might be able to see it just through there. You'll probably see the flames burning right now through the peak hole. All I've done is push this in and spun left like a hob. So if I turn it off, look, the flame's dying down now, as you can see. If I push in with this and turn left, where is it? There's that flame back again, look. So you just push it in, the same as you do with the hobs and the igniters on the hobs, exactly the same. So at the minute now, I've pushed that in, it's on number 2, the hottest temperature is obviously 5. So right now, I've got the heating on fan speed 5, on manual because I want to choose my own fan speed, on 2 kilowatts of electric and the hottest setting on the gas. If I wanted to do the boiler, there's many ways. So I can come here, and if I want to do the boiler on the gas, I simply click down on that panel to 70 degrees. Off is in the middle where it goes flat, and 50 degrees is up at the top. Now that's obviously on the gas side of things. On the electric side of things with the boiler, all I need to do is go in the cupboard. Sorry, not on this. Sorry, not this one. This is a different Sergeant unit. I'll come back to that side because that's further around in the motorhome. But essentially, it's further down here. Look, if you look down at the bottom, you've got one there for your ultra store and your ultra heat. Your ultra store, this one is your boiler. So if you want to use your boiler on electric, just flick that switch down there, and that boiler will give you 70 degrees hot water. If you want it on gas and electric, like I am, I've put it on 70 degrees on the gas side, and I've turned on the electric. So the boiler and the heating are both currently running on gas and electric at full potential. Obviously, all around here, you've got plenty of storage, which is always nice. And into the back of the vehicle, you have one of the warmest rooms in the house. Wow. So you've got a heater vent just down there behind the toilet. Just down here, as you can see. So obviously, this room does get very hot. Now that's because you have the drying rail, which is just there in the shower, which is the rail at the top of your shower, so you can hang all your wet clothes up after a day out, put the heating on, and the water will drip down into the shower tray and out and dry your clothes. Some really good pressure obviously coming through the taps on both sides, and then we've got the toilet cassette, the actual cassette toilet. So lift up this lever here, pushing it towards the shower and back like so, opens and closes the trap door, and the blue does the flush. The light changes, the colour changes when the toilet cassette needs changing and is full. And that is it with the toilet. You have to close that off every time so the smell doesn't come back up the toilet, and we can move that around to create ease of access going through and round. I do think we have some more storage up here as well. Yep, some more storage up top, which is nice. If you're travelling, take your shower head out and put it on the floor. This should just be wardrobe space and storage cupboard, which it is, all the way down. And then we're on to the kitchen. So hobs wise, push in and twist, just like a normal hob unit. Literally push in, twist, use the igniter. Exactly the same with this one, which I'll demonstrate now. And then the same with this one here. Oh, I don't know if I can. I can do it like this, look. Just do it two-handed. And that's all three of your hobs lit nicely. Now your oven and grill is on the same dial. So to the left is your oven, using the same igniter again. There we go. That's to the left, and if I go to the right now and push those two in, we'll get the grill. There we go, and your grill's in there with the pan and the handle as well as. Got some great storage options around the kitchen space, as you probably already know because you've been around it already. You got the plug in there that goes obviously to the oven, and we've got the gas taps on the left, which isolate the gas for the fridge, for the heater, and for the oven and the hobs. Microwave up at the top to turn it on. Hold the eco button. I mean, that's all I really know what to do with the microwave. I just add 30 every time and stop and clear. This tower, to put it back down, you push the base button in, back down, lift up, off, on, and plug in, but only when you've got the hookup lead in. And again, some really good pressure coming through this front end as well on the hot and the cold side. If we put it to the hot side, you'll probably see some steam coming off that, because I have got it ready to go for you. And your fridge. So to turn your fridge on, you hold the on button. If you want it on mains, you click mains. If you want it on gas, you click gas. And if you want it on vehicle battery, you click the vehicle battery. To change the temperature, we push the thermometer. And if there's a problem with the fridge or you run out of gas, like I almost have, this little button will start flashing here. It'll just go beep, beep, beep. Or what it can be a lot of the times as well is gas is a liquid, and on the back of this fridge is a series of S-bends the gas goes through. So if you've got your fridge and you want to run it on gas, we need to make sure this vehicle is as level as possible. If the vehicle is unlevel, gas being a liquid isn't going to flow through it correctly, and it's going to be entering the fridge at the wrong pressure. And if it's not the right pressure, it's not going to burn properly. So to get your fridge operating, we do need the vehicle to be as flat as possible. Okay. To explain the three different modes. So obviously two are very self-explanatory. You've got your mains and you've got your gas. Those two are the two highest powered settings on that fridge. So to reduce the temperature of the fridge, so say it's been in storage for 2 weeks and you plug it in, you want to get the fridge cold, we need to use the gas or electric. The battery setting is not going to get the fridge cold. The battery setting is there so that once you have got the fridge cold, so you spent an hour with it on electric or gas, you can then put it onto battery. It'll start beeping at you until you start the engine. The beeps will stop. Then the engine battery is now keeping the fridge at the exact same temperature it was when you started the engine to whenever you arrive at your destination. So all the battery does is maintain the temperature. Just worth remembering, and it's not there to reduce it. Underneath both these underneath both these sofas is just storage. You've got your leisure battery under the front in that one. And then you've got your fuse board and solar controller. So this meter over here is just basically plugged into the solar controller, so it can read, you can go through it and see how much, draw and amperages you're getting off your solar charging. This solar panel, this solar configuration will charge your vehicle battery as well, which is going to be a huge bonus, especially from anywhere from February to sort of October. It's going to keep both batteries nicely charged, so you've always got some power there. You've then got your fuse board next to it, and it's split into two halves. On the right is your mains, so everything off the plugins outside, and on the left is everything off your battery. And as you can imagine, everything is labelled on there to tell you which fuse does what. At the top, you have the switch for your charger, because the charger is built into the fuse board. So obviously, if you do want to turn the charger off, just flick that switch off up at the top. We've got full storage all the way around here. Your reverse camera will appear through the monitor and will stay on constantly as you drive, unless you click the off button on the screen to turn it off. Your cab blinds, as you can see, I've got all set up ready to try and keep some of this heat in. That's the vent that goes over the cover for the exhaust outside at the start of the video, which we discussed. And then obviously you've got your carbon monoxide and your smoke alarms, which is just over there, which we need to check the batteries of every 6 months. Now, I only say 6 months because motorhomes are stored outside. Batteries get colder, they don't last as long. So to check them every 6 months will be incredible. But it's a beautiful motorhome, guys. I look forward to showing you around it today. And obviously, hopefully you have some good memories out in it and make some good journeys of it. Look after it, and if you're ever done with it in the future, be sure to let us know. She's a lovely motorhome, looked after very well. Incredible woodwork, really good build quality, and everything you need out of a motorhome with the extras that it's got fitted already. But thank you for your business, guys, and we hope you get the best out of it. Cheers.